Okay, this is my wife, Yuri Santiago. I'll be conducting the case study interview, and we'll start off with some basic background information. So, what nationality are you?
I'm Dominican.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 41.
All right. When did you enter the U.S.?
I was 9 years old when I entered.
Okay, and what grade are you in now?
I'm not in school now. I have a bachelor's degree, but when I came, I was in fourth grade.
Okay, so you came over here in fourth grade.
Yes.
All right. So did you attend third grade?
No. The first grade that I attended here in the United States was fourth grade.
And in Dominican Republic, did you attend third grade and go right into fourth? Okay. All right. And when in DR, did you live in a city or a country? What was the setting like?
It was more like a town.
Okay.
Where I lived in. I mean, I do remember like taking the bus to the city. But yeah, a town.
All right. Let's see. Do you know what your parents did for work when you were in DR?
Well, my father was here in the United States, and he was a chef, and my mom was a secretary for an attorney. I think what did they do? Like weddings,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Now, do you know more or less why your mom or your father decided for you to leave?
Well, pretty much why everybody comes to the United States, to better yourselves, to get better opportunities. I mean, my father was here in the United States, and my mom and I were in Dominican Republic. So he pretty much is the one that brought us over and for us to be together as a family.
So when you came, who came over with you? Was it just you and your mom or anybody else?
It was just my mom and myself.
Okay. And how long did it take for you? I mean, I'm assuming you took a flight?
Yes.
So that's like what, like
3.5 hours.
All right. Do you remember anything about the journey, the anticipation when you were leaving? Like, did you know, like, I'm going to the U.S., I'm going to specific destination, what city? What was the journey like when you were going?
I did know that I was coming to the U.S., but for us, pretty much coming to the U.S. doesn't matter where you're coming. You're coming to New York, even though I was actually coming to New York.
Oh, they just say going to New York.
Yes, if you're going to the U.S.
You could go into Nebraska, you're going to New York.
Yep, for anybody that's, I guess, in my town or in my area, going to America is going to New York. I don't remember too much about the preparations of getting ready to come to the United States. I did know that I was coming to the United States because we did say goodbye to family, and I knew that I was coming to see my father. That's about it for preparations.
Now, once you got to the U.S., in the household, what language was spoken?
Spanish.
Okay. Did you know how to read and write in your own language, in Spanish, before you got here?
Yes, in Spanish, but not in English.
Okay. And when you came here, how long? I guess you said you were in third grade and went right to fourth grade. So you went right into school. How long were you here before you got enrolled into school?
Not that long. I came in August.
Oh, okay, so good time.
So it was pretty much time for school. I mean, I don't remember if it was the end of August, beginning of September, but that was I'm gonna say like about a month, maybe a month or two before I started school.
Okay. And you said you went to fourth grade. Let's see here. Now, what do you think? Can you point out any major differences from the school in DR to the school over here in Queens?
That's very difficult. I mean, I don't remember too much about attending school in DR before I came here. There's not much that I can really say because I just don't remember that far back.
Okay. All right. So when you first started school here, how much English did you speak, if any?
Nothing.
Really? I didn't know that actually. I figured you had some sort of.
I didn't know any English. I mean, maybe simple words, and I can't even think of like a simple word like my name is or something like that
Right,
that we
right.
would have learned from like other people that traveled. But no, I didn't know any English. I spoke strictly Spanish.
Now, how was that in the community? Were there teachers that spoke Spanish? Were there other kids that spoke Spanish? How did you start assimilating and getting into academic work? Were you in a school with in a classroom with only Spanish speakers, like an ESL class, or were you in like regular classes or mainstream classes? Or what was the setup like?
The school that I attended did have a decent population of Spanish-speaking students. So we did have a couple of teachers that were Spanish, but for the most part, the classes were in English, and then we had a couple of what we called ESL classes, where it would be kind of like teaching us how to read and write in English.
So those were separate classes, and then you went to other classes also, or were you in ESL class all day?
There were separate classes.
Okay. Now, was there any sort of technology assistance at that time being used? I mean, I know the Google Translate is not yet.
I mean, I remember the actual floppy disk
Okay.
from being in school, but nothing that I can remember that was like Spanish related or helping with language.
Okay.
At that time, no.
And for the subjects, I'm assuming the subjects were regular academic 4th grade level.
Right.
Let's see. Was there any like one biggest thing, like what was the biggest thing that helped you learn? Like I used to always do this, and that really helped me learn English.
I mean, I want to say that it wasn't necessarily school. I mean, school did help, but I used to watch cartoons in English.
Okay,
and then
that makes sense.
That helped me. I feel like helped me better understand and be able to speak the language. Also, I did spend a lot of time with my cousins that they did speak English and Spanish, but mainly English. So when I was around them,
were they born here or over there?
Yes, they were born here.
Oh, so they were
cousins
already
from.
Okay, so you had cousins.
Venice, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Veronica.
okay.
So, since they spoke English and obviously fluently, being around them helped me learn English faster, I believe.
Now, you were at school in Queens, so I know there's a high immigrant population. Was there any sort of contention or interaction between immigrant students and non-immigrant students? Did you feel like outcasted at all or separated? Was there a clear separation, or what was the vibe like for that?
No, I don't recall there being any separation that I could like distinctly remember. Like I said, I feel like we had a decent amount of Spanish-speaking students, so we kind of had our programs and our things to be able to help us learn English. But I don't remember feeling isolated or separated from other kids.
And how did you get to school every day?
I walked.
Okay, how far of a walk was it?
Not far. It was about a block.
Oh, really?
And then, that was elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, for high school, I took the bus.
Okay. Did your mom walk you there in elementary school?
Yeah, most of the times.
And how well did you do in school? What kind of grades did you get? What kind of student were you in general?
I was a good student. Grades.
Okay.
But it was hard. Like at the beginning, I remember, and even now, like my mother will tell me how I used to cry for homework and say things like, I'm never gonna learn English. I'm never gonna understand this. Like kind of things like that. But
and then you just have to keep on pushing through.
You just have to keep going. You have to keep trying. You have to keep practicing. The practice is the most important because you feel that you're doing it wrong. You're not saying it right. But if you don't practice, you don't get better.
What age or grade do you feel like it clicked? Like, all right, because you speak English obviously perfectly now, and we speak English at home. When was it like, all right, I'm fully in and I am very comfortable with English?
I don't think that I could pinpoint that because even now I feel like I have issues with some words.
Interesting. Okay. All right, let's see. Do you dream in English or in Spanish?
That's a good one. I think now I dream in English.
Interesting. Oh, we've gotten all the way into that subconscious.
I've gone over the hump maybe, but I think I really don't remember many dreams, but I think I dream in English now.
Okay. Um, what sort of advice would you give to another student who is coming here from another country, whether it's Dominican Republic or somewhere else, and is trying to acclimate and doesn't speak the language, even if it's somebody who's, at the age that you came in on?
Like I mentioned before, I would have to say practice. It is harder. It's going to take extra steps and dedication. I do remember having like flashcards sometimes. One side would have the word in English, the other side would have the word in Spanish. Watching, listening to something that you enjoy, but in the language that you're trying to learn, which in this case would be English. So those extra steps do go a long way. And if you do have family members that do know the language, just be around them when they're speaking, even if you don't understand it. With time, it'll click.
Okay. Now as an adult living in this country for a while, are there ways that you are living your lifestyle now that might not be exactly the same as the culture that you're from, that maybe you're disappointed in, or your parents are disappointed in, and you not following some sort of cultural aspect that you were raised in?
Yes, and I think you know.
Well,
Well, like you said, we speak English in the household, so our children do not speak Spanish and they don't understand. And that is something that I do feel kind of, I guess, bad or shameful about, for not teaching them Spanish.
there's still time. Axel's learning
Yes,
that.
there is time still.
Well, that goes into the question, what, if anything, from your heritage background would you want to pass on to your children?
Well, I think that question is answered.
Okay. As the last question I have for you, do you think about returning to your native country ever?
Yes, but not like to live.
Right.
But yeah, to visit, go on vacation, visit family. I still have family there. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're done here.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.